Giants are back of day 2 of OTAs. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? What's going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. Want to give you guys a huge shout out for all the support you guys have shown me on the channel in the past couple of weeks. The community is growing a lot larger, and I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, man. I love doing this for you guys all the time. Hopefully, like every single day, we're covering these OTA practices, and we got more projects coming up in the future. But if you guys want to support me even more, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, man. I got like 7,000 subs on YouTube, but it's kind of lacking on Twitter. If you guys haven't already followed me on Twitter, maybe you guys don't use Twitter, but if you do, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. Link is in the description, along with following the NFC East RoundTable channel. That link is also in the description. We go live almost every Thursday. It's going to be every Thursday kicking off in training camp, but go ahead and subscribe there. We're about 1,000 subscribers strong right there, along with other content creators. It's a lot of fun, but let's get into it. Now, I know I said in day 1 that we were going to talk about the offensive line at the beginning of all these videos, but for whatever reason, there's no adjustments. There's nothing to talk about with the offensive line besides the fact that they did a lot of 2-on-2 run game combo block drills today, where it was either center on guard or guard and tackle, and that's how they were doing things. Besides, obviously, the 11-on-11s and 7-on-7s, where they're out there as well. But unfortunately, there was no different combinations of offensive line formations where guys were all over the place. It seems like maybe, you know, where they were at in day 1 is where they were at in day 2 as far as who is playing where. I must say, even though there isn't as much information similar to day 1 yesterday of OTA practice, there isn't too much to go on, but there is a lot of optimism in day 2. Malik Neighbors, for the second day in a row, is out there showing out no matter who is at quarterback. Again, Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, it doesn't matter. He's catching the ball, doing well, caught a couple of touchdowns today. And obviously, there is no contact in these OTA practices. So when you hear these touchdowns, we don't actually know if they were actual touchdowns. It was just they caught the ball, they had space to move, and you can kind of guess if they would have broke some tackles to the end zone or whatever the case was. But a lot of these times when you're going to see 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills with no pads on, defense isn't really playing that, you know, they're not playing hard. They're not playing with a lot of contact and physical pressure. Deonte Banks seems to be picking up right where he left off last season as a rookie going into his second year. He had 2 pass breakups today, and like I said, it's very, very impressive when you see the defense showing out, when you see defense, you know, picking the ball off or forcing incompletions, because they are really handicapped in these practices. I really would like to say that in the offense, as far as offense goes, when you see all these receivers making plays and stuff like that, it's great to see. But at the same time, we got to remember the defense isn't playing as hard. So I think it's more impressive when I see defensive, you know, the defense being highlighted in these type of practices than the offense. I've said this in years past where I don't want to see one side really dominate the other side. I really want to see an even matchup where the offense plays well on one day, the defense plays well on another. But if there's one player that I want to see completely dominate this entire offseason, it's Deonte Banks. Deonte Banks is literally the only secondary player that I have complete faith in right now on the secondary, and we need him to do well, right? He is that X factor, because if he does not play well, the Giants already have big weaknesses on the second cornerback spot and the slot. We still don't know how that's going to look yet with Andrew Phillips in there. And the safety position is going to be a little bit unknown. You know, we got a lot of young guys in there, not a lot of experience. Jason Pinnock, you know, we've got Jalen Mills, who is experienced, but I don't know if he's even going to make the roster. We don't even know that for sure. Dane Belton, Javarius Owens, right? We got a lot of inexperience in the secondary, and Deonte Banks has not a lot of experience, but a lot of talent. I want him to break out this season as a true number 1 cornerback. That way I can be a lot more stress-free as far as the defense goes. So let's see what happens with Deonte Banks, but he is starting off really, really well. We have Jalen Hyatt for the second day in a row, scored another touchdown from the hands of Tommy DeVito. And rookie Tyrone Tracy, you guys know that I'm rooting for this kid. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. He's going to be the guy I'm looking at on offense the majority of the time. Yeah, Malik Neighbors is a fun highlight reel to watch, but I really want to see the grind of Tyrone Tracy Jr. And he got involved in the passing game today, catching 2 touchdown passes. Well, what could have been 2 touchdown passes. Had a really good swing pass in the flat and also a pass up the middle. Of course, they could have gone for touchdowns. We don't know how that could have gone, but with his elusive ability, I think so. Trey Hawkins, who I think is probably going to be the cornerback right next to Deonte Banks on the secondary, also had a batted away pass, so that is good to hear. I'm really rooting for Trey Hawkins this year. I really am. I love late round picks and their stories of getting into the NFL and becoming a starter. Trey Hawkins had just a astronomical rise in training camp last season as a rookie and just could not perform when he actually was asked to play in the regular season. Hopefully he does the same thing in training camp and it carries over this year into his second year in the season. Hopefully that he does that. I would love to see a cornerback combination of Trey Hawkins and Deonte Banks. I think that would be most ideal. And we have another lone interception. Yesterday, it was undrafted free agent Alex Johnson. And today, it was Jalen Mills, the veteran safety from multiple teams, including the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, I don't know if they're protecting the quarterbacks that are involved, but they're not saying who the interception was from. I don't know if they got some agenda with quarterbacks, but usually they say who it's from. He got an interception from this quarterback. They're not saying who the interception is from. I really want to see that. If Jalen Mills is there, I assume he's probably with the second team. Maybe that's like Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, because Daniel Jones isn't really completing all of practice. So I assume Drew Lock is playing with the first team a lot of the time. I said Brian Burns forced a throwaway. I really want to touch on Brian Burns, man. He looks so great out there. I mean, if you watch him practice, he moves so fluidly. He's got long arms. He's got a long frame. I mean, he looks like a corner. I swear to you, if you watch this guy play, he looks like a cornerback that's 6'4", 250, how well he moves out there and how his short area quickness is just so damn quick. The Giants posted him doing some footwork drills today, and if you look at his frame, I mean, he looks like a wide receiver doing those footwork drills. I'm really looking forward to having Brian Burns at 250 and Kayvon Thibodeau, who's listed at 258, out there on the edge, man. That's going to be so fun to watch. Both players have their own specialties, their traits. I'm just excited to see them put it all together. Now, this was interesting. They said practice end with a developmental period, and it looks like it only involved these guys who probably are not going to make the roster. A lot of undrafted free agents. I guess they just put them all together and they just let them play and see how it looks and who really kind of shows out from the rest of them. But it said here that it ended with a developmental period where Nathan Rourke, who a lot of people liked, he was, I think, coming out of Jacksonville Jaguars, and it said that he spent some time in the Canadian Football League. He hit John Giles, the undrafted free agent wide receiver, at the end of the front pylon for a huge highlight grab that we don't have film for. Why don't the Giants post highlights anymore? I don't understand. I need B-roll. I'm a content creator. And then he also hit Miles Boykin and Chase Cota, who I have no clue who this guy is, but for a touchdown. So that's interesting to see. I really like that. I like them seeing, all those undrafted rookies, put them together, all those, guys who probably aren't going to make the roster, the long shots is a better word. I like them putting them together and just having them play and who really shines out from the rest. So that's all I got for you guys today. They will be back on Thursday the 23rd. Of course, they don't have practice tomorrow when I'm off from work and I can do this a lot earlier. Of course not. The only day they are off too. So go figure. But yeah, they'll be coming back out on the 23rd, and I don't know the rest of the schedule, to be honest with you. I cannot remember it, but it goes all the way up until like June 10th or something like that. They're spreading out the OTA practices, so we'll be on for every single one of those days, guys. Do not worry. All that being said, leave a like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!